Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome back to another episode of Voice of Youth. Today we are talking about Hukhamnama and the way it should be taken. So I sent out this question to the Voice of Youth chat itself, asking people why they take Hukhamnama the way they do, how have they seen other people do it, and so on and so forth. Firstly, I'm going to bring up how I've done it, how my family's done it, and then I'm going to bring up a response which really just kind of clarifies and gives a really good reasoning for why Hukhamnama should be done a certain way. So the way I've usually done Hukhamnama, taken Hukhamnama, my family have done it, is that in the morning when you do the Ardas, Prakash and everything, after you go to the random ang which you open up and then you get to, you read from the top left corner because it's the start of the day and everything of that such. So you read from there, and if there was a midway through a Shabad, you would then go to the start of the next Shabad, and that's how we do it. And then towards the end of the day, when we're doing Smarty and everything, we would read, once again, we would go to a random ang, because we've done a new Ardas and everything, so we believe that once you do a new Ardas, you can't just read from the same ang that's been there the whole day. You go to another one because it will require a new response, because every Ardas you do has its own personalized response in a sense. And then we would read from the bottom right because it's the end of the day, and we would start from the Shabad that starts there, like the start of the last Shabad there. That's how I've been doing it my whole life. And after I raised this question, someone shared a response which was really informative and really just made a lot of sense. It shared similar traits to what I've just brought up. So they said once you open to the ang, you go from the Shabad, which is, even if it's midway through the Shabad, you go to the previous ang and you start from that Shabad from the top left corner. And then if you had to go to the previous ang, it would then be on the bottom right corner. And you start from there at the start of the day. Once you come closer to, as you progress through the days, through the hours of the day, you go further down the ang and then onto the next ang itself, until the point where it's midday. You're starting from around the middle, so the bottom left or top right, depending on which side of midday you are. And then once you come to Smarty at the end of the night, you're doing from the bottom right. And that made a lot of sense, that if the area in which you read Hukhamnama correlates to the time of day you're in. No one else seemed to really give a different method in which they took Hukhamnama. One person brought up an example when they didn't have access to Sri Guru Granth Sahib. They would just search a random ang on their phone app or everything and just use that. And that is actually a very practical way to, take a Hukhamnama if you need to and you don't have access to Sri Guru Granth Sahib. So with that example brought up, I'm actually going to start practicing and following that way because it makes a lot of sense and it's just a slight tweak to what I usually do, and I don't really have any problem with following the time of day because it makes a lot of sense practically. There was a video they did send through, so I'll put that in like either corner of this, like the thumbnail, so you can know what video to search, so you can also see what they sent to us as well. And I'll bring up one final example. This is an example which I've seen people do, and it's one example I personally disagree with, and as you've seen, the past two examples would also, as I follow them more or less, it would also kind of disagree with this one. So this is one where some people take Hukhamnama in the morning, and then they stay on that ang for the whole day. So when they took Hukhamnama again later in the day, they would read the same Shabad again for that day. And to me personally, I don't really see a point in reading the same Shabad after you've done a different Ardas and everything, because the whole point of the Hukhamnama you take after you do an Ardas is to give a response to the Ardas you've done. And you're sure sometimes you may get the same Shabad several times or here and after, because like one of the things we do, which was another question I brought up, was why we try to take Hukhamnama from the middle of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib itself. Someone responded saying it's because of the placements of the Shabads in that middle area. It's a lot easier to read. It gives the answers we would generally provide for everything we need. It would have all the answers there. And then there are much longer Shabads at the start and towards the end of Sri Guru Granth Sahib itself. So then going back to the example I just brought up, people who read the same Shabad at the start of the day, at the end of the day as well, sure, you can get the same Shabad here and every so often, but it would kind of defeat the purpose of doing an Ardas. And sometimes, at the start of the day, you hope for something to go well, or you like to just ask a question and you want to get a response to that. But then at the end of the day, maybe you're thankful for whatever happened, or you'd like to get more clarification for something, or you just want to ask another personalized question. It would be more, it just seems more logical to me for a different Shabad to have been read during that Hukhamnama than to just read the same one that came at the start of the day. But you may disagree with me on that. Let me know in the comment section down below. Share the way in which you take Hukhamnama itself. It's really important that we do have one, or like a real close way in which we do it, that we all follow. So that way we all have the same understanding of how certain things should be done. We can explain it the same way to people that probably wonder why we do it the way we do it and why we do Hukhamnama at all, and all these things that can kind of sprout from this one topic itself. So yes, please do let me know how you take Hukhamnama in the comment section down below. Maybe you might change your method to some of the ones mentioned here, or maybe you might have one with another set of reasonings which would be very interesting to hear about. So please let me know. Hit the like button, please share this video around, and thank you for joining me in this episode of Voice of Youth. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.